The Saints have about $17 million in cap space. So that means they could get really active in the free agent market as the second wave, third wave of free agency begins. I'm your host, Trace Gerard. Welcome into Saints Now. Let's talk some free agent targets. But before we get to that, I want to ask y'all to go down and subscribe to the channel. We are currently at 12,783 subs. We're trying to get to 13,000 subscribers. We're 217 away. If we can get 100 subs on this video alone, we pass the Broncos breakdown. We're that much closer to 13,000, and then we're that much closer to our big goal of 15K by the end of the offseason. So help us out, lock us in, subscribe for Saints news, rumors, updates, and a hell of a lot more content all throughout the year. But I want to get your gauge really quickly, guys. Grade the Saints free agency period so far, A, B, C, D, or F. They brought in a lot of interesting guys. Jamal Williams, bringing back Michael Thomas, signing Derek Carr, adding to the defensive line with Nathan Shepard and Galen Saunders, It's been a lot of fun, but you also lost a couple guys like Caden Ellis and Shai Tuttle. So let me know, A, B, C, D, or F. I'm probably going to go A- or B+. So in terms of areas of need for the Saints, I think that the biggest areas of need right now are the defensive tackle, edge, wide receiver 3, tight end, and linebacker. And now let's take a look at some wide receiver targets. And a lot of y'all might say, Trace, what about Rashid Shaheed? He's on the roster. He's a damn good wide receiver 3. Yeah, I agree with you. Rashid Shaheed, dog. He's awesome. I love Rashid Shaheed. I've been high on him before most other people, where I've been saying I have the need for speed for Rashid Shaheed way before it was big on Twitter. Just saying. Anyway, I also think that he is a rookie. He was a UDFA. You got to give him the opportunity to prove it more than just the back half of a season. You know what I'm saying? So I want to see him take another year, take some steps. I want to see what he does. Not that I'm saying I was unimpressed with what he did last year. I loved everything about Rashid Shaheed. In fact, I was always advocating for more from Shaheed. But here's 4 guys that I think the Saints could look at to be a wide receiver. You know, some of them, OBJ, Jarvis Landry, wide receiver 1, 2. Jarvis Landry, not really a wide receiver 1. But OBJ could be a wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2. You move the wide receiver room around. Point being, they need a third guy. They need a third guy who can get it done. Jarvis Landry, you might be able to bring him back into the slot position on like a team-friendly vet min deal, something like that. I don't know. OBJ, I think this one's a stretch. I don't see him coming to the Saints, but it's worth discussing because he hasn't signed yet. So I'm just saying, in terms of numbers and in terms of math, the probability for him to go into any team is equal. So he hasn't been signed yet. There's obviously teams showing interest. And obviously, there was that report that he could end up with the Jets because Aaron Rodgers mentioned him as a name that he likes. Watch out for that. DJ Chark is also an interesting name. I really like this guy. Former LSU Tiger. He's young. He can stretch the field. He can do a lot. Mecole Hardman, the burner, the speedster out of Kansas City. That could be a fun one to bring in as well. But let's take a look at the stats for these guys last year and a stat comparison for the 4 aforementioned wide receivers. 9 games played, 25 receptions, 272 yards, and a touchdown for Jarvis Landry. He started out so good in that week 1 game. I mean, I think he had like 7 catches or something, but after he got injured in week 3 against the Panthers, he missed like 5 consecutive weeks, and then it just never was able to be that guy again. It stinks. I would have loved to see him be a bigger and better part of the Saints offense. Again, I'd love to bring it back, man. It would be fun to run it back with Juice, but who knows? I don't think that the Saints love the idea of bringing him back, but at the end of the day, I'm not in the front office. Odell Beckham Jr. missed his entire season last year after tearing his ACL in the Super Bowl with the Rams 2 seasons ago. DJ Chark, 11 games played for the Lions, 30 receptions, 502 yards, 3 touchdowns, and Mecole Hardman, 8 games played, 25 receptions, just under 300 yards, and 3 touchdowns. All of them, I think, could be solid options for the Saints. I would be happy with any of the 4 of these guys. So I want to hone this question in on Jarvis Landry, though, because he was a part of the team last year. He was a lot of fun to have on the team. I really enjoyed having Jarvis Landry on the team last year, and I've said it 100 times already. But I'm going to say it again here in just a second. Should the Saints bring back Jarvis Landry? Type R for return. Type W for, he's washed. Let him go. Let him do his own thing. Let him, ride off into the sunset and see what happens. Let me know in the comment section. This is the YouTube, or this is our pinned comment. So if you get hit with a YouTube ad break here, take advantage of it. Scroll down, answer the question. By the time you're done, we'll be playing again. So in terms of Jarvis Landry, I actually wouldn't mind bringing him in on like a team-friendly deal. Finish out your career at home. You started, you're from Louisiana, Juice. You played ball with the Tigers. You played at Death Valley. Come on. Come home, finish the season, finish your career. I don't know how much time he has left. I could imagine, there's 1-2 years maybe left in the tank for him. I wouldn't hate bringing him back. Come back on a team-friendly deal. Why not? It's Juice. Come on now. It was fun having him on the team. But let's talk about the defensive line. So I'm going to bring both edge and defensive tackle in on this one part. Jadeveon Clowney, Yannick Ngakoue, Frank Clark, A'Shawn Robinson, and Poona Ford. I think Clowney could be a name to watch out for, but being that he has a relationship with the new Saints defensive coordinator. It wasn't necessarily positive. I think it's a stretch. And also his attitude hasn't been the best over the past few years. Might want to avoid that for a locker room that's pretty strong already. Yannick Ngakoue, I'm impressed with this guy. The fact that he hasn't been signed yet is kind of a mystery to me. I think he's a very interesting name. He could add a lot to the edge rushing position for the Saints, and same with Frank Clark. We went in depth about him in a couple videos ago, but Frank Clark would be an absolute menace to society on the opposite of Cameron Jordan. And if you just clean up that defensive line, that will be a dangerous line. A'Shawn Robinson, very talented defensive tackle, played his ball last year with the Rams. Poona Ford, also defensive tackle that you could look to add to. You need to beef up that defensive interior, and I think that these are all 5 guys that could make sense and do that just well. So also, Who Dat Nation, I am on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, so feel free to hit me up at TraceGerard48 on Twitter and Instagram. And I think my TikTok is at like TraceG1234 or something like that on TikTok. Hit me up if you guys want more updates, more news, rumors, all that fun stuff. I'm always tweeting. I'm always posting on IG. So when I'm not in the studio, that's another way to get more Saints updates, rumors, all that. I retweet anything that goes on around the Saints, so you're going to get all of the updates from the big J's, major media heads in Saints media. So help me out. Get my follower numbers up and DM me that you came from this video, and I'll give you a follow back at TraceGerard48 on Twitter and Instagram. I'll have those links in the comment section and description of today's video. So let's talk Yannick Ngakoue. I mean, over the last 4 years, he's had 30-plus sacks. I mean, I'm doing chicken scratch math right now in my head. 26, 35 and a half sacks. Wow, that's good. Remember how many sacks the Saints had last year? Not that many. 16 QB hits in 2022, 8 tackles for a loss, and 1 forced fumble. Obviously, more so focusing on the 2022 stats, being that those were his most recent production numbers. But Yannick Ngakoue has always been a guy who gets to the quarterback, and if the Saints can bring that kind of pressure to a quarterback every week, I don't think that there's a team that can stop this defense. So I will also add this anecdote. This defensive line draft class is deep. You can go and add to the defensive interior, even the edge rushing position in the NFL draft, and it would be fine. You can get quality talent that's ready to start right now, that's young, cheap, and very fun. I mean, just straight up fun to watch. I mean, Jalen Carter, you're telling me you wouldn't enjoy seeing him in a Saints uniform tearing it up next to Cam Jordan? Come on now. You don't think Kalen Saunders and Jalen Carter would be tearing it up? What about Myles Murphy opposite of Cam? Or how about this? You get B.J. Ojulari and Tano Passanio as your defensive ends when Cam is taking a breather and getting some water. How about Kalijah Cansey, the next Aaron Donald? I mean, the measurables are incredibly similar. It's almost scary. The guy is an animal. He puts up numbers. And what about the quick speed demon defensive tackle in Brian Breesy? We talked about him to a great extent. I think that these are all 5 defensive line draft targets that you could go and add to the Saints defensive line that will immediately make them a better unit. But also, one more quick reminder. You want Saints content? Do you want the best offseason content? You're in the right spot, because not only will you get YouTube videos when you subscribe, you'll also get YouTube shorts, like regular shorts that I break down quick updates, quick analysis, quick alerts, just give you the information, and then you can scroll on to the next video. And then we also go live almost every other week pretty much. We're trying to make this an every week thing. The more subs we get, the more likely it is that we can go live every week, because that's just how it works here at Chat Sports. More studio space, or more subs, more studio time. That's just how it be sometimes. So help us out. Lock us in. Subscribe. I mean, we went live for a Derek Carr signing for free agency for like 4 hours, broke it down, went crazy. It was insane. Got like 2,500 in super chats. We also went live last week in free agency just for fun to break down news and updates that happened. I predicted the Jamal Williams signing happening hours before it happened. More reason to subscribe. Come on now. Lock us in. If you bleed black and gold, this is the channel for you. So let's go to tight ends. Foster Moreau. Talked about him. He could be an interesting guy, the former LSU Tiger, the Louisiana native. Might as well bring him home. He has that connection with Derek Carr. I wouldn't hate it. Why not? Austin Hooper, tight end, played last year with the Titans. Might be worth it. He's kind of on the back end of his career, I would say. He's not a bad name to bring in, but the fact that he hasn't been signed yet does say something. Irv Smith Jr., former second-round pick, I believe, if I have that correct. And then also, former second-round pick, and then also just has injury concerns. If he can stay healthy, maybe he could be a good guy to bring in. Mercedes Lewis, also another name that I think that could be brought in to the Saints. If you take a look at the depth chart for the tight end room, it's good. It's not great, but it's good. Juwan Johnson, Mr. Reliable. He's your tight end one. No doubt about it. If you don't like it, find a new team to root for. I don't know what to tell you. Adam Troutman, he is solid, but he could be a lot better. Come on, guys. We can all agree that we expect more from Adam Troutman. Taysom Hill, he's your Swiss Army knife. Lucas Krull, the UDFA out of Pitt. And then you got Miller Forrestall, I believe is the first name, but Forrestall on the roster as well. The point of the tight end, the bringing in a new tight end, you got to find somebody to challenge Troutman. Taysom Hill, as we know, isn't just a tight end. He's not a pass catching tight end. He's not a blocking tight end. He's a football player. He just does football. Like he says, here's that football game. I'm going to go do that football game. That's just what he does. So my point is, find somebody that can challenge and push Troutman, because either A, you get better production, or B, you have a better tight end. Always looking to improve at positions that you might want to add it. Let's also talk about the linebacker depth chart. Pete Werner. Dog. Love Pete Werner. Demario Davis. There's nothing you can say about him. He says everything you need to. Zach Bond, though, I'm not going to lie, guys. I actually liked Caden Ellis being in the lineup a little bit better. You also have DeMarco Jackson, one of the late-round draft pick from last year. Nephi Sewell, also on the depth chart. Ty Summers, under Zach Bond, he was brought in this offseason in free agency to a very cheap contract, 1-year deal. I think you got to go and add somebody in the linebacker position. These are 5 guys that I think that I would rather roll with than Zach Bond. And I'm not trying to turn this into a I don't like Zach Bond thing. He's not a bad player. That's not at all what I'm saying. I'm just saying that there's always room for improvement. And if you can improve and you have the money to spend, do it. Improve. You know what Super Bowl winning teams do? They get better in the offseason. You know what the Saints have done? They've gotten better in the offseason. But there's more that can build on it. You can get better and better and better and better and better and better until you're all the way there. But Bobby Wagner, Denzel Perryman, Rashawn Evans, Anthony Walker, Myles Jack. I really like the idea of Myles Jack. But also, could you imagine with either Myles Jack or Bobby Wagner? I mean, you have Bobby Wagner, Pete Werner, Demario Davis. Nobody's getting 8 yards at all a play for a season. It's just not happening. Point being, let's add to the linebacker depth chart. So, guys, to round things out, shout them out for me. Which free agent do you think the Saints need to sign? And it can be any of the names listed today in today's video. It could be a name that we haven't listed in today's video. So let me know, Who Dat Nation. I'll be interacting with all of y'all in the comment section. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Y'all stay golden. We'll catch you next time. Have a great day.